This video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of number and place value, and more specifically we're going to focus on understanding the rules connecting multiplying and dividing negative numbers. So essentially you need to understand the basic concepts for multiplying and dividing negative numbers. So when we have one number that's positive and one number that's negative, for example positive 6 multiplied by negative 2, we have one positive number which is a 6, one negative number which is negative 2. Our answer is always going to be a negative number. In this case 6 times 2 is 12, so our answer is negative 12. If we had a divide and we had negative 18 divided by positive 3, again we have one positive and one negative, therefore our answer is going to be negative, and our answer is just going to be 18 divided by 3, which is 6, therefore negative 6. If we're looking at multiplying, and dividing where both numbers are either positive or negative, the answer is always going to be a positive. As an example, let's say we have 3 multiplied by 6, that gives us positive 18. We might have another example where we've got minus 4 multiplied by minus 2. Since we have two negatives, we're actually going to have a positive answer, and 4 times 2 is 8. If we're going to do some dividing, we could have 15 divided by 3. It's going to give us positive 5 because both numbers on the left-hand side of the equal sign were positive. It's the same as we might have negative 15 divided by, oops, I'll fix that, divided by negative 3 would actually still give us positive 5 as well, because the negative 15 and the negative 3, two negatives, mean that we're going to have a positive answer. So let's have a look at some example questions. Multiplying with negative numbers, we have a negative. In our first question, we have negative 5 times by positive 4, so we have one negative and one positive. I know my answer is going to be a negative number, and 5 times 4 is 20. In our second example, we've got two negative numbers, so I know my answer is going to be a positive number, and 3 times 4 is 12. Now we're dividing with negative numbers. First question says negative 15 divided by negative 3. Well, I know both numbers are negative. That means my answer is going to be positive. And 15 divided by 3 is 5, as we've already gone through in our previous slides. Second question, it says, what is the answer to 20 divided by negative 5? Well, 20 is a positive number divided by negative 5, which is a negative number. My answer is going to be a negative answer. And 20 divided by 5 is 4, so my answer is negative 4. Okay, let's have a look at some more example questions. First question says, what is the answer to 6 times negative 3? Well, I know it's going to be a negative answer because one of my numbers is a positive and the other one's a negative. And now I just work it out normally. So 6 times 3 is 18, so I'm going to have negative 18. If I've got negative 5 times negative 2, well, I've got two negatives here, so I know my answer is going to be a positive number, and 5 times 2 is 10. In my second bunch of questions down here, I have negative 18 divided by negative 6, so a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive answer, and 18 divided by 6 is just going to give me 3. In the last part, I've got a positive number divided by a negative number, which my answer therefore is going to be a negative number, and 28 divided by 7 is just 4. Okay, I'd now like you to have a go at some practice questions. They're going to pop up on the next slide. If you could pause the video, try and answer them, and when you think you've got them correct, continue the video and we'll go through the answers in the last slide. So as stated, here are the practice questions. Please feel free to pause the video, and once you think you've got them correct, we'll go through the answers on the last slide. Okay, so let's see how you went. Question A. Negative 18 divided by negative 2. Well, we've got two negative numbers, and we know a negative divided by a negative gives us a positive answer. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. So our answer is going to be positive 9. Question B. Negative 3 times negative 2. Well, we know a negative times by a negative gives me a positive answer. And 3 times 2 is 6, so my answer is going to be positive 6. C. We have a positive number 4 times by a negative number 6, so I know straight away my answer is going to be negative. 4 times 6 gives me 24. And D. We have a negative number divided by a positive number, therefore my answer is going to be negative. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So my answers are A is 9, B is 6, C is negative 24, and D is negative 5.